Hello everyone and welcome to our Effortless Success in Your Portable Career and Business Summit. This is Dominika Miernik, your host, and today I have a very special guest, Rosemary Cunningham. She's a money, marketing and soul coach. She helps her clients to make more money, a big impact in the lives of others, and finally feel that you are on purpose with your life and business. Hello, Rosemary. Thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Dominika. Thank you so much for inviting me. What a wonderful opportunity.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So please tell us more about you and what are you doing?
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Well, I've had my own business for 25 years this year. So I've got quite a celebration happening, but it's gone through a big evolution during that time. I started off my career as a nurse. I'm very much a nurturer. I love looking after people. That's part of my nature, and that's actually one of my money archetypes, which is which I have here, which I work from a lot. And I have problems with my hands, which have always guided my path. So far, my hands have changed my career 7 times, so I have to be on the lookout for when my hands are troubling me. And I had to give up nursing, and I became a complementary therapist. And I was very successful, had a lot of clients. I used to treat 30 clients a week. But over time, my hands have started playing up again. And now I've been very much guided to use my voice a lot more. And even though I have a small complementary therapy business still, I maybe treat 5 people a week. My purpose now is to help other women really live their purpose and help them be happy, successful, to lose any fear of money, to really feel empowered in life, in business, and live joyfully.
Yes.
I've had my challenges myself along the way as well, which I can say a little bit more about if that's interesting.
Yeah, so you have changed a lot and you have changed your career completely. And so today we are going to speak about a very hot and interesting subject, money and limiting beliefs. So what are like the most common limiting beliefs that you see that women are having and how to like overcome them or change them?
Yeah. A lot of people have fear around money. That was definitely one of mine. It's a huge one. If you can change your fear around money, life will change dramatically. And that's a huge part of my purpose, bringing people out of fear and into joy and ease. That's absolutely huge. Women also often need a lot of validation from other people. We have a lot of history around money. We have a lot of Victorian dramas in my country at the moment, things like, oh goodness, what have we got at the moment? Vanity Fair and things like this. And women married, and immediately any wealth they had went to their husband. And of course, marriage was controlled by wealth. And so there's been a lot of emotion mixed up in it, and a lot of dependency for women that, as we all know, still exists in a large part of the world. And luckily, most of us now are starting to break free of this. But we bring an awful lot of legacy with us. I've had women come to my groups who have applied for a mortgage in their own name 20 times in the last 25 years. So it's all very, very new for us. And I think one big belief is that we can't do it by ourselves. It may not be a conscious belief. We like to think we're feminists and we're really powerful, but underneath there's often a really powerful underlying belief that was very much part of me, was that I couldn't do it by myself. And I was single and independent on the outside, but underneath maybe I might have had a husband. I've been single most of my working career, but I had a very, very supportive father who was always happy to put his hand on my back and support me financially. And a lot of women really, on some level, believe that that's what they need. And that partly in our DNA. And I think that's probably the biggest one.
Yes, so like how to change this belief? Because it is changing, like women, they have like more like power and like more independence now. But as you said, we all still have this limiting belief. I think that not also in the UK, but like in other different countries, you always like think that you need a man who will support you, or someone else who will like support you. Even like on the outside, you can seem like very independent. So how to change this limiting belief? What we can do to change it?
A lot of it is about awareness. Money is all about energy. What I've learned through my time is marketing's about energy, business is about energy, our bodies are all about energy, and so is money. So an awful lot about it is awareness and catching your habits, starting to understand yourself on a much deeper level, and then you start to hear your triggers. And knowing those is absolutely huge, because we can be doing so well and then something happens and we go in a complete spiral of downward. So a large part of it is actually knowing your triggers. And some of the women I've worked with years later, they'll still get their work out when they're having a bad time, or they'll just start remembering. There are other things we can do. I mean, people use things like tapping, EFT. I do some deep belief work with my clients. And then we have affirmations where we really own ourselves around money. But if you're not in the right headspace, saying that you're $1 million coach first thing in the morning just won't fit at all. There's often a gradual acceptance of self, and it's hugely around our self-worth. So I would really say that this isn't just a one-off process. It's not a quick fix for most people. The awareness can be huge, but there's often a process of really healing. It's no coincidence that I've come into this as a healer, because I help people heal their money stuff. And so yes, there can be a deep process of healing when you take a good look at your self-worth, what it's about. One thing I do with my clients always, one of the first things we do is I get everyone to write their money story. And if you're out there wondering where to start, just get a blank sheet of paper and write down what you were hearing about money when you were a little child. So 4, 5, 6, 7, up to that age. And that will be where you've taken your beliefs from, and what you were hearing about money. For us here, it's often money doesn't grow on trees. And so we constantly see a limit. And money's an energy. It's actually limitless, and it's up to us to really start tapping into that. So I do a lot of energy work with my clients. What else? I'm sorry, I've lost my thread there. Remind me. I'm quite nervous.
Yeah, so what else can we do, like, to overcome this limiting belief that we like need support, or that we cannot do it alone?
I think community is absolutely massive. I created a women's community 5 years ago, which has now got 1,200 women in it. And I created it because that's what I wanted in my life. So we've got this wonderful gift of the internet now these days. And I would say to any of your ladies watching, just use that community. Obviously you have community, don't you? And any communities they can create themselves around like-minded, positive people, where you can go back and be lifted up. I had a meeting yesterday, 24 women there, and you can see they leave taller, they leave more empowered, because they're sharing their energy with other people who think the same way. And then you lose the drains out of your life, and the times where you feel low become shorter, and the times where you feel high feel longer, and then you can bring yourself back because you know your own triggers. That's huge. What else do we do? I'm so sorry. Message just came up on my iPad. I do apologise. My computer's broken. So, and also it's about communication as well. A lot of people have problems communicating with their spouse, and it's the recognition that we're all different. Some of the work I do, sometimes I work with partners, so you understand why you're so different to your partner. They might be a dominant accumulator archetype who likes to keep everything very close, whereas you're a romantic who likes to give it all away and spend it on designer clothes. And you don't understand each other, and you have no idea how to respect your boundaries. And then we get very judgmental. And money is a very, very, very judgmental subject anyway. So the first thing I do when people work with me, particularly in groups, is we say this is a no judgment zone. You can't judge anyone else. You can be curious, very curious. You can say, really? You spend £800 on a handbag? I struggle to spend 10, but no judgment, because we are so harsh on ourselves. So learning to be kinder to ourselves is great. But also, one of the things I recommend to my ladies is to have a money date with their husband. So I know you were saying to me, some of your ladies have lost their financial independence because, and a lot of it is about communication, to actually be really, really open and talk about these things. Not all the time, not every night when they get home from work, but one thing that's really great to do is to have a money date. It might be once a week, it might be once a month, where you sit around the table with a bottle of wine and a takeaway or whatever it is you do, and you just talk about money. Where are we? And strictly curiosity, no judgment, and really start to explore who you both are around money and share these things. That's worked massively. I had a lady who came on one of my courses a couple of weeks ago, and she was so scared. And she realised, first of all, that she wasn't the only one. That was huge. She thought that she was the only person who was terrified about money. And there's often someone who cries for the first half an hour when they come and do a money course with me, because it's a hugely personal, emotional subject. And people realise that they're not on their own, and we can get help with these things. So that's huge, about asking for help as well. But also just talking about it and communicating. It's probably the most taboo, private thing we have, even within marriages and partnerships and businesses. And I know for me, I wasn't very open about money because I had so much shame. I was really ashamed that I'd created debt in my business and my life. I felt I was out of control. And there's a lot of that. So it's trying to reverse that and really rebuild your self-worth as well. Something I ask people to do is to congratulate yourself at the end of the day about 5 things you've achieved. And it doesn't have to be around money. It can be around you, because we are who we are, and we attract who we are as well. So you want to really try and lift your vibration around yourself and how amazing you are. So write down 5 things at the end of the day that you can acknowledge yourself for that day. And they can be very small if you're having a bad day. They can be that you got out of bed. You know, some people are in real trouble. And then 5 things that you're grateful for as well. And this will start boosting up energy, because we can get into a very, very, very low negative place around money, particularly if we listen to everything we're hearing. I'm in the UK, we've got Brexit going on. It's not good to listen to the news at the moment. So I just don't. I won't have it in my life. It brings me down. It makes me think scarcity. And that's really not what I believe. So I just protect myself, and I avoid people who talk like that. I switch off from them. Realistic, but I also believe in the energy of money, and I keep my energy very high. I focus on what's coming in. There's always more coming in. You very much focus on the things that are there, not that they're not there. You know, we live in the most abundant part of the planet. There's an enormous amount of wealth around us, and to focus on that and not what's not there is very, very transformational.
I love it. So, like, for example, let's talk now a little bit more about like starting and growing a business, because you can have also like many limiting beliefs about when you are charging for your services, or you are even like afraid to ask to being paid for your services or for your skills. So and you can even like undercharge. You can ask for less. So how to like be confident about that, and like know exactly what is your worth, and like recognize your what you are worth.
Okay, so this is interesting. We had this conversation in my group yesterday. Yeah, I had a lady there who was a new, she'd been working as a bookkeeper, so helping people with their accounts for the last 5 years, but she'd started working on her own. And if you've always been working for somebody else and you've never had to say, I charge X for my services, it can be really frightening at first. I had this when I was nursing. I never had to ask anyone for anything. I just gave my care freely. And I was paid a salary at the end of the month, and I couldn't negotiate on that either. So it was very cut and dried. So that's the same for all of us, I think, when we come out. Not everyone, not all of you will have trouble charging for your services, but some of you will. And this was the lady was saying, but I haven't got a product to sell. I'm just selling me. And what I challenged her to do was to think of the transformation that her service gave her client. So it wasn't about her doing their books. It was about the transformation she gave to them. And that's what the value was. So for me, if somebody does my accounts for me, first of all, they save me an almighty amount of headache. If I do them myself, I might look at the pile in the corner every day for a year and not do anything about it. And people have big boxes full of receipts. And she just comes in and she sorts it out and she lifts all that worry there, which gives us so much space to spend elsewhere. So the transformation for her clients is to feel supported, they feel protected, they know if anything happens with the tax man, somebody's got their back, they can feel safe, they can sleep well at night, which is worth a lot of money. People spend a lot of money on mattresses and anti-sleep medication to try and help them sleep. So it's to think about the service you give and the transformation it gives. So for me, when I was a massage therapist, someone would come into me with a bad back, but that would mean that they couldn't go to work maybe, and it was affecting their sex life, and they were grumpy with their children. And they couldn't apply for a new job because they knew they couldn't travel to London on the train every day because it's an hour each way. All these different things. And when that back pain was resolved, their quality of life just went through the roof. And if I said to them, what's that worth to you? They'd say, I can't put a price on that. But I'd charge them maybe $50 for a massage. So it wasn't about that $50. It was about a huge transformation. And if I actually do a program called How to Charge What You're Worth and Get It, and we take you through the stages of looking at what you do and really, really putting a concrete value on it and then putting a price to it. And this is something you can do for yourself. Take what you do and put a big circle around it and think of the ripple effect of what your service does for that client and different parts of their life, their freedom, for their sleep, for their ease, all that kind of thing. That's very helpful for really increasing your self-worth around what you do.
Yeah, so
go on, sorry.
No, go on.
It can still be challenging, particularly if you're a nurturer. If you're a nurturer archetype, stating what you're worth takes every bit of courage you've got. And there are a lot of women around who've got their own businesses. Because we're here to give service to other people, they do really struggle with this. But it can certainly be overcome. But for some of us, it never goes away. It is a continual challenge. And when fees have to go up, we have to counsel ourselves again and give ourselves a bit more love and tell ourselves that we're doing an incredible service for our clients, and also get the testimonials and really read them, really listen to people and hear and receive what they're telling you, that what you do makes such a huge change to their life. Really receive it. Sometimes women, we're not good at receiving compliments. We brush them off, and we need to stop and listen and receive and allow that to infuse in ourselves. And we really get it.
Yeah, so it's like recognizing the impact that you are like having on helping other people in their lives, their businesses or careers. So it's like recognizing the impact that you are having and the transformation
yes, that's absolutely huge. Yes.
Yeah. So what will be like the one main step that you can that you can share with us to like start building a helpful money mindset, like one main step that we can take right now after this interview, let's say?
Okay. I think the biggest one would be to realize that money is an energy, it's neutral, and it only receives charge from what we put on it. So we can throw a lot of fear at it, we can throw a huge amount of judgment, we can hate it, or we can choose to treat it like a friend. And if money's a friend to you, what would your best friend do to you? They support you. They're there for you whenever you need them. There is an energy of support around money, and it's often us who block it. Our fear stops it. So sometimes I don't have any money here. Sometimes it's nice to really build up a relationship with money. Start using cash more, for one thing. We've got very, very, very card conscious these days, I would seriously suggest to anyone to start using cash. It helps you really relate it to it again. Look at it, it's really beautiful. The art on money is quite incredible, and feel the energy of it, and get a sense of what it's done for you. It's done incredible things for us. You know, it keeps, well, need I say, something's paying for keeping children in school, for educating us, for doing the most incredible things, and anything you can to lose that charge and that fear from it. Money is all about mindset and energy. So one of the things I get my clients to do is to look out for abundance around you and really appreciate it. Look at another business and see that it's doing really well and think, wow. Something that was shared with me was to say, congratulations on your abundance inside your head. You know, I'm living in an area where we have streetlights and we have trains that work. Congratulations on your abundance. And really start building up that beautiful appreciation of money and all the amazing things it can do, and not focus on the lack of it, but focus on what is rather than what isn't. I'm sorry if that's a bit woo-woo for some of you, but this stuff really, really works. One step at a time. And obviously I help people much more with the concrete things, but that's a really great place to start, to really start appreciating what's going on. And it's so easy to focus on what's not there rather than what is. And the truth for most of us is more does keep coming in if we allow it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So thank you very much for sharing that and sharing all the tips with us today. So please tell us more, where can we find information about you? And I also know that you have a fantastic free gift for our listeners or people who are watching the video. So tell us more.
Certainly. You're welcome to go to my website. It's rosemarycunningham.co.uk, and I'm sure Dominica will put a link up to that on the site. And I'm also offering each of you a 30-minute free money discovery call, where we'll have a conversation. I'll help you find out a bit more where your blocks around money are, and the first thing you can do to start help healing them as well. So that's open to any of you, a 30-minute call. I'll have a calendar set up so you can go in and put your name in that. We'll have a link to that for you. And for that, the link is coachingwithrosemary.com. So if you go there, you'll be able to find the page that will take you to the link to book your appointment.
Great. I will put all the information and all the links with the show notes, so you can go and book a session with Rosemary and also check her website and what fantastic services she is offering, and also check her blog. So thank you very much for being with us today, Rosemary. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I wish you all much abundance, and come and talk to me if you'd like some more help.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening or watching the video. So please tell us more, what are your thoughts, comments and challenges that you are having with money, or questions. So please come on over to our Facebook group and share the comments with us. So thank you very much and speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.